Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Kevin Hubb, here for another board review, and today I'm going to be talking about the Nidecker Platinum.
What's it called, Kevin?
The Nidecker Platinum. This board comes in 5 sizes, a 153, 156, 159, 162, and 165. So the camber on this, Nidecker claims that it is camber from foot to foot with a little bit of even rocker in the nose and tail, and they're full of shit. It is full camber from contact point to contact point, and that's the only thing I can think of is for some strange reason they think they're calling the contact point upkick, rocker. I've seen a few brands do that before. That's not rocker, it is camber. Good old-fashioned man camber. I rode this with K2 Lean ATs, this year's version, so it has that heel block to it that I did have installed. That heel block stiffens it up a little bit tip to tail, and on this kind of board, definitely gonna need that. It has very stiff tips to it. And I rode it with my Ride fuses. For me, that's a little bit of a stiffer boot. I'm a little bit of a lighter guy, so that urethane tongue definitely offers some support to it. And they're fresh, so they're still not fully broken in. They're still gonna ride a little stiffer. And I rode this at A-Basin on kind of just an average day, realistically. It was not super cold. It wasn't super fresh snow, but we have gotten a ton of snow in Colorado the last month basically, and that makes the snow pretty good still. So it was really good conditions for testing this. I was able to get into some chunder, I was able to get it into some variable terrains and onto some pretty nice groomers that were relatively smooth and pretty fast. The flex on this board is definitely more of your demanding all-mountain charger type of flex to it. Stiff nose, stiff underfoot, slightly softer between the feet, stiff under your back foot, stiff through the tail. Overall, it's a pretty meaty deck. It's aggressive. So with that, with the full camber that does not have any rocker to it, it's pretty dang stable. You do get tip flap though. So despite this being a relatively stiff nose, that nose does chatter a little bit and you do get a little bit of that inputted into your front foot. So I could actually feel it, and really pushing through a carve on my front foot and putting most of my weight on my front foot doing that, I could feel it wash and I could feel it trying to walk around on me. So it does have a little bit of tip flap to it that if you're really getting after it, you're really going fast and you've got your weight more forward, you're gonna feel it, and it is gonna affect the way that this board handles through carves and through chunder. So stability for this board really comes from foot to foot. Keep your weight centered and you're gonna be all right on it. For a board with this much camber and no rocker, and this stiff of a flex, I expected a little bit more snap out of it. And you do get a little bit more the more you put into it, but even still it lacks pop. Like, it's just not a super snappy board. In and out of turns, it has some life and energy, but honestly, I attribute that more to the center part of the board and being able to center flex through that camber. Out throughout the tail, not really a lot there. It has some support to it, but when you actually put some effort into it and try to get it to snap, it just doesn't do too much. So ollie and pop out of this was honestly just kind of lackluster for me. Full camber, stiff nose, stiff tail, stiff between the feet. If you're trying to butter this thing, you better be an Ultraman or a Sam Squanch, or you downsized way too far because it's meaty. Honestly, I didn't even try to butter it. The tips are stiff. They're just not really for that at all. I didn't really butter it at all. Torsionally, this board is a little stiffer and it holds an edge like crazy. So going super fast, it holds its line pretty dang well. If it's good groomers, kind of like I talked about earlier with the flex, that nose flap out of it, if you're coming through chunder or really variable terrain, it might get kicked off its line a little bit if you're weighted too far forward. But out on a pristine groomer or something smoother, this thing rails carves. It is literally on rails. It holds an edge really, really well. And if you're putting your weight through your back foot, that tail does have enough torsional stiffness to it that it holds onto carves extremely well. So just keep your weight a little bit more centered or on your back foot as you're carving on this thing, and it carves really, really well. Longer radius and medium radius is really where it likes to sit. Those short radius turns, it takes a ton of effort. You really have to consciously load and unload that camber to get it to do those short turns, and it's just very effort inducing. It just takes a lot of effort, and you really gotta, at least me, I had to throw basically my entire body weight into the camber to get it to do those short turns. The rider in mind for the Platinum is your high-end all-mountain Charger Carver. It is quintessential European groomer board, in my opinion at least. Unless you're looking for that hard boot directional full-on carver, this is kind of what that board really lands as, is your general purpose all-mountain Charger Carver. That's where Nidecker puts it, and I think they actually kind of nail where this board's supposed to land. So I've ridden a fair amount of the Nidecker line now, and honestly, this one's very middle of the pack for me. Keeping my weight back through smoother terrain, it does carve really, really well and holds an edge like crazy, but it's got that nose flap issue that I just wasn't a huge fan of, and it really just kind of lacks pop. So while it did have that kind of hyper-reactive feel to it, and it definitely reacted extremely quick to any input that I really gave to it, overall it was just kind of meh. And if you're looking for something that has just that full camber, traditional directional flex, old-fashioned ass snowboard, this one's kind of very middle of the pack for me. There's worse stuff out there, but there's definitely better stuff out there. Some boards I found comparable to the Nidecker Platinum are the Burton Custom X, the Jones Aviator, and the Nitro Super Team. Super Team?
Super Team.
Is it RA?
RA.
Okay. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Kevin Hub. Is this something you've been riding? Are you thinking about getting a Platinum now? Maybe you shouldn't. There's better stuff out there, but you know, whatever. And have you been riding this? Am I full of shit? Am I way off base? Do you think this thing is crazy snappy? Do you think the nose doesn't flap at all? Well, if you do, you're probably wrong, because this is why I do this, because I'm right. Leave me a comment. Argue with me. Agree with me. Say something weird. I don't care. Leave some comments. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. And if you're subscribed, or if you're not subscribed and you did just click the subscribe button, make sure you're hitting the bell so you get notifications when we got more stuff coming out. If you're new around here, or if you're looking for a way to support us and keep these projects coming, the best way to do that is to check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. Come back and check us in the next video.